So I'm watching this movie last night, and I find myself doing what I do best all the time, which is basically analyzing the whole plot, the whole story, analyzing everything, the characters, all of that on a deeper, more psychological type of level. And I found myself looking at these characters, looking at their behaviors, looking at the situations they're putting themselves in the situations that are actually happening to them, and then going back and looking deeper into it about, how their upbringing was and what kind of situations their parents had gone through, that was similar, and then the grandparents, what they had gone through that was similar. And I come, into this conclusion. Basically, I'm analyzing this whole entire movie, like from start to finish, and trying to figure out what the generational curses are that are involved in this movie. I have a very hard time actually just sitting there and watching a movie for pure entertainment. I find myself all the time like just picking out the little bits and pieces of information and like analyzing this on a deeper level, like it's actually like a real life shit show, basically. Um, and so I'm doing this, and then of course it just starts getting the gears going and everything, and I start thinking about like all the generational curses that I carry. All the things that happened to my parents and happened to my grandparents and my great grandparents that they never healed from, and now I carry those burdens, and now I'm trying to heal from them because some of those I have already passed on to my children and they're carrying those. And so, if I can heal from them myself, I can't take them away from my kids, but I can help my kids learn how to heal from what they have instead of piling more on top. So anyway, because of that, I just thought I would share a little bit of information about generational curses. And we all have them. Everybody has them. When you stop and you look at your addictions, your mental illnesses, your physical ailments, or your dis-ease, as we like to call it, your self-sabotaging behaviors, your toxic habits that you have, toxic behaviors, your negative energies that you carry, these are all generational curses. They're all behaviors and toxic negative energies that we pass down from generation to generation until somebody actually heals from them. The hard part is that most of the time nobody actually will heal, or they won't stop this cycle, because by the time someone decides that they want to, or even makes an attempt to do it, there's been so many years and years of toxic behaviors and negative energies instilled within that one person. Just over the years, it's just everybody before them has piled on and instilled their burdens onto this person, and then this person is going through their life and they're developing their own burdens. So now they are not only carrying their own, but they're carrying these burdens of everybody else too, and it just keeps piling up like that. And so healing from all of that is extremely difficult, and it's something that most people will just give up on doing if they even find the courage to even try to start it in the first place. So take a look at your own kids. Look at your younger siblings. Look at your younger cousins or your other relatives that are younger than you. And think about all of that dis-ease, all of the physical ailments, all of the addictions, all of the mental illnesses, all of the self-sabotaging behaviors, all of those toxic habits and that those negative mindsets and everything. Um, you know, think about all of that you suffer from yourself. And then understand that you've already instilled those exact same energies onto them, onto everybody that's younger than you. They're now carrying what you're suffering from and then some. If they don't heal from them, they're going to create their own negative energies that they're going to build, and that's going to build upon the ones that you've already given to them. So in turn, they're instilling even more and more for that following generation that's younger than them to carry around. And this cycle just keeps continuing. And we see, if you open your eyes and you really, when you look around, you'll see how the younger generations in your family are more troubled than what you are. You are more troubled than what your parents were. Your parents are more troubled than what their grandparents were. This cycle just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it gets harder and harder and harder with every generation. So unless of course somebody pulls the plug here and heals from it and just stops the cycle. But like I was saying, that's extremely difficult to do when somebody finally does realize, like, okay, hey, something's not right here, and I'm gonna change this. I'm not gonna follow down this path. I'm gonna change my life. When they decide they're gonna do that, most of the time they have so many years of just this built up toxic energy that changing that is extremely difficult. And most of the time people are just gonna give up. They're gonna think like, nope, this is just, I can't do it. Like there's no way, I can't heal from all of this. I cannot change this cycle. And when in fact they can, it's just that they need to put in a lot more work than they would have 10 years ago. So, look at your family history. Does depression, anxiety, addictions, and addictions don't have to be drug related. They don't have to be alcohol. But they can be other addictions too, such as compulsive spending or hoarding. Do these kind of issues that you have, that depression, that anxiety, those mental illnesses, those addictions and stuff, do they seem like they're hereditary? What about abuse? Whether being the victim or being the abuser themselves, is that something that runs in your family and seems to be that every generation seems to have some sort of abuse that happens? Either they're dishing it out or they're on the receiving end. What about eating disorders? Does it seem like you have people in your family who are obsessively dieting and wanting to lose weight? Or, do they have eating disorders that maybe don't stem from wanting to lose weight, but they're more of like a symptom of a mental disorder? So they get stressed out and they binge eat and they just overeat. Or maybe they're the complete opposite and they get stressed out and they don't eat at all. Sleep disturbances. Does it seem like people in your family have, insomnia all of a sudden, or they don't sleep well? Maybe they suffer from nightmares. Does it seem like there's like a lot of people in your family that have these problems? Manipulative behavior, narcissism, even physical ailments. And yes, physical issues are part of these generational curses too, because they stem from unhealed trauma and toxic energy, and these problems manifest into physical symptoms. That is literally how any physical symptom starts. It starts with your mind. That is proven over and over again. That's a different topic, but one that people just do not want to believe because, well, if they truly believe that they are in control of their mind, then they know that they are also in control of their physical health, that their mind is what controls that, and then they can't pass it up as an excuse to be miserable anymore. So people don't want to acknowledge that. Like I said, that's a whole different subject. But back to where we were. There's got to be someone somewhere and at some point that wakes up and needs to make that decision that they're going to heal and they're going to end that generational curse. And why not decide that that person is going to be you that does it? Why not decide that you are going to be the one that takes control over your family tree, that steps up, breaks the cycle. Okay, you're not going to be able to eliminate or remove all of the toxic behaviors and the energy that these younger generations already carry around. Okay, you're not going to be able to do that. They're going to have to heal from those themselves. But you will be able to avoid adding to that burden for the next generation, okay? Because even though they're born, every time you're carrying around a new burden, you're instilling that onto that generation. They can be 10 years old and you're going to instill your burden into that 10-year-old. So it's a continuous cycle that keeps happening, and which is why healing never ends. It is why healing is a continuous process. Nobody is ever going to be 100% healed and then stay 100% healed every second of the day for the rest of their life. That just doesn't happen. You're constantly going to have to keep healing from things. But the key is to keep healing so that you're not harboring and carrying around all this negative energy and then instilling it onto these generations to come, right? You're also going, other than just being able to avoid adding to the burdens that these younger generations are carrying around, but also by healing your own addictions and your mental illnesses and your dis-ease and your self-sabotaging behaviors and all of that negative stuff, by healing your own toxic behaviors and your own toxic energies, you're leading by example, and you're teaching and you're guiding and you're assisting the younger generations, and you're teaching them how to do the exact same thing, how to get better on their own, which is super cool, because these days our younger generations are not taught how to do any of that. And they really aren't. They're not taught how to heal. They can't even think for themselves half the time. So they're definitely not figuring out how to heal themselves. So, being somebody that is an older generation and being able to guide them and teach them and lead by example is amazing. You need to get yourself the help that you need to heal. By healing yourself, you're not only lifting the burden from your shoulders and you're improving your own well-being, but you're also protecting the well-being of the generations to come too. You're repairing and you're saving your family tree for the following years. For years and years and years to come, you are putting that ball in play. I mean, you're starting this all. And you need to find the method of healing that resonates with you, not with your cousin Mary or anybody, not with your best friend, not with your husband. You need to find the method of healing that works for you personally. You don't need to worry about what anybody else is saying works or whatever. You use what works for you. If praying to God and attending church with a group of people and repenting for your sins is what heals you, then do that. If spirituality and practicing on your own terms is what heals you, then do that. if using divination tools and asking for guidance from ancestors or angels or other spirit guides is what resonates with you in order for you to heal, then by all means, do it. Okay? Do what works for you, not what works for everybody else. What works for you. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It only needs to make sense and work for you. You know, if reaching deep into the deepest, darkest pit of your soul to meet your dragons face to face, to embrace them and to conquer them is what's going to heal you. This is also known as shadow work. Then absolutely just do it. You know, reach in there and pull them out. Face them, conquer them. Do what you need to do to actually heal those wounds. If combining multiple methods and tools is what resonates with you, you know, maybe go to church on Sundays and pray with your group of people, but then the rest of the week you're, you know, practicing shadow work and you're doing meditation practices and whatever. Maybe you're, I don't know, using tarot cards or something. Absolutely combine whatever tools and whatever methods you want to use and that's going to heal and help you. Combine them and use them. Do whatever it is that you need to do. You're going to have people that are going to tell you that there's only one way to heal. And that way that they tell you is going to be their way. And the reason that they're going to tell you that there's only one way is because they do not understand your way. It doesn't resonate with them. That's okay. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to resonate with them. It only needs to make sense to you. And the truth is that there is no one-way street for healing work. Okay, all of the above ways that I just went over with you, and there is so much proof that all of those work. You can find testimonials a mile long about how well these other methods and everything work and how they've worked for other people. They're not going to work for everybody. But, I mean, they can easily be found on all of these people that swear up and down that it's the best way ever. Don't believe anyone that tells you that your healing method is wrong. Okay, they're only saying that because they don't understand the method that you use. And they don't understand it because it doesn't resonate with them. And that's perfectly okay. Healing ultimately is a personal journey. And I can tell you, and swear up and down on what works for me, but that doesn't mean that my way of healing is what's going to work for you. It's an option. It's something that you can try and you can see if it helps, and maybe it will. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You can look at other methods and figure out a different way to heal. But the point is, you need to heal from all of these traumas and these burdens that you carry around with you so that you're not instilling these into generations to come. Who wants to be born carrying the burden of their ancestors, right? I mean, seriously, we're born pure, so let's try to stay pure as long as we can. So that's all. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about these generational curses and the effects of them and the importance of healing from them. I'll talk to you later.